Good evening, Anne Arundel County. Good evening, America. Welcome to Promoting Community, Conversation, and Discovery. My name is Anthony Bynum. I'm your host. The name of our production company is Glenn Burney Players. These are exciting times here in Anne Arundel County. Exciting times. Now, it still is a bit warm. I hear we might get a little bit of a break this weekend. Whether we do or not, it's a beautiful place that we live in. Yes, Anne Arundel County. So, we want to get our show started, but before we do, a little bookkeeping or announcements or house cleaning, so to speak. Let's cover first upcoming events. So this weekend, Sunday the 23rd, at John Wesley United Methodist Church in Glen Burnie, there'll be a bike, car, and truck blessing. That's will be done by Reverend Kenneth P. Moore. You have the opportunity, bring your bike out, bring your car out, bring your truck out, and he will bless them. Also, this weekend, I will not be around this area because I'll be heading to New England. The 21st, 22nd rather, I'll be in New Hampshire, at the Goffstown Library for the presentation or co-presentation called Goffstown History, Bynum Legacy. We've been working on this for about 6 months. My brother Bruce will co-present with me. And we're just looking forward to a great time. Touching history. It's important. It's important. So that one will eventually become a show, and you'll have a chance to view it at some time in the future. Now we want to next we want to have a shout out to our affiliates. These are the people at the cable stations that are running our show for us. So there's Anne Arundel County Community TV. They confirmed this week that they're running our show. Normal times, which is 3 to 4 times a week. Thank you for running our show. Thank you. Thank you for the support from the beginning. They've been with us from the beginning. Thank you. Greenbelt Cable Access. They ran our show the prior week. We want to thank you for your support. Amherst Media out of Amherst, Massachusetts. Greenbelt Cable Access is in PG County, Maryland. Amherst Media, which is in Amherst, Massachusetts. We want to thank you for your support. That show should be run on their network, and also I believe you can catch it on the web on 7 o'clock on Saturday nights. Manhattan Neighborhood Network. They're going to run the show for the 3rd time. I think they're running it tonight, actually. So they run it 3 times. They run it for a week, and we thank you for your support. We also want to give credit where credit is due. We want to thank the fine people at Wikipedia for helping us with the research for today's show. But also we have a news source. It's called We the Mighty. So thank you for your support. You'll see what that's about in a little bit. We want to put a shout out to our underwriter. That's the cleaning shop. Their information will be in the credits. And we thank you for your support also. Okay. First section, most admired. So we're going to go to our screen share for that. This week, we're going to look at a true trailblazer. A true trailblazer. Benjamin O. Davis Sr., or should I say General Benjamin O. Davis Sr. He was a brigadier general, the first Black, first African American general in the United States Army, the very first. Now, he was born 7/1/1877. He died 11/26, 1970. So he lived a long life. He was born in Washington, D.C. I'm going to kind of go through the accolades here and pertinent information. His parents were Lewis P.H. and Henrietta Davis. He attended M Street High School. He first served in the segregated 8th Army as a volunteer. He was in infantry as a first lieutenant during the war with Spain, but he didn't see any action. So they may have been disbanded. He re-enlists as a private. He re-enlisted in the all-black 9th Cavalry, which is known as the Buffalo Soldiers. Quickly, he rises through the ranks and becomes sergeant major. So I want you to think about this. He's a lieutenant. I don't know how you become a lieutenant in those days, but he's a lieutenant. He's an officer. Then he starts again as a private. He goes all the way to sergeant major there, the highest ranked enlisted man there is. Nothing but respect for those guys. That's incredible. Let's read on. Now, he met a Lieutenant Charles Young, who was the Army's only Black officer at that time. Lieutenant Young schooled him on how to pass the officer's test. So he passed the officer's test and becomes an officer in the 10th Cavalry F Troop, and he serves in the Philippines. This is before World War I. He becomes an instructor at Wilberforce College in military science and tactics. The Army, though, is reluctant to send Black troops, African Americans, colored troops, whatever the name at the time was, to Europe. So he actually stayed in the Philippines during World War I, and he was eventually promoted to captain. He was in supply. After the war, he became a professor of military science at Tuskegee. So this guy kept pushing himself, kept pushing himself, kept pushing himself. So he was in Europe in 1944. This is right at the height of World War II. He made a proposal of integrating replacement soldiers because, you know, soldiers are getting burnt out, dying. You got to bring in new soldiers, right? You got to keep the war effort going, especially in Europe, because you had the goal. You had to stop Adolf Hitler's led Nazis. That was the main goal. So he made this proposal: as soldiers come in, let's bring in some Black troops with them, get used to serving with white soldiers. The Army adopted it very slowly. There may have been a little, but there wasn't a whole lot. The Army at that time was not in a rush to see that happen. But what do we know? I believe it was I have to double check this. It may have been 1948. I'll have to double check it. But we know that Harry S. Truman integrated the Army with a executive order. So I'll get back to you on verifying that information. Now, in 1945, after the war is over, he returns to Washington. He serves 2 years until promoted to a special assistant to the Secretary of the Army. He retires 7/20/1948. Truly a trailblazer, truly. And the fact that he could live to tell, he lived a long life. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Okay, so now we're going to move on to something of consequence concerning Anne Arundel County. This week we've chosen St. Mary's Parish School. Let's go to the pictures here. St. Mary's Parish School was founded in 1863 by the Redemptorists and the sister school of Notre Dame. The high school was added in 1946. Now, it's a co-educational Catholic parish school from pre-K to 12th grade, and it's located in Annapolis. There's one central complex, right? But 3 different buildings. You have the St. Mary's Parish, which is at 109 Duke of Gloucester. The elementary school is at 111 Duke of Gloucester. And the high school is at 113 Duke of Gloucester. Excuse me. The current principal is Joseph Keenan. This is important. The student ratio is 14 students for every 7 teachers. That is 2 to 1. If you want good education, you have to have lots and lots of people in authority to guide, to nurture, to push. They're doing it right over there. In 2013, the enrollment was 500 students. I don't know what it is now. The motto: faith, tradition, and excellence. Now, they offer AP and honors classes for advanced students. So this school's got everything going on. They really do. Okay, we're going to stop the share right now. We're going to come back in a moment. Let's stop it right this second. Here we go. And this week, I always like to find something that is apropos. We talked about a great military man in Benjamin O. Davis Sr. So I decided to take a look at great military speeches. And I found one that I liked. And again, this is by, we receive this information from We Are the Mighty. This is something I believe the U.S. Army put out. Pericles was a great leader, a great Athenian leader. And he had an appeal for war against the Spartans. This is well before Greece is becomes one country, one nation. And the Spartans and the Athenians were always fighting each other. And I believe the Spartans always did it by sea, the Athenians were always on land. But this goes back to 432 BCE. And here's what he said. When our fathers stood against the Persians, they had no such resources as we have now. Indeed, they abandoned even what they had, and then it was by wisdom rather than by good fortune, by daring rather than by material power, that they drove back the foreign invasion and made our city what it is today. We must live up to the standard they set. We must resist our enemies in any and every way and try to leave to those who come after us in Athens that is as great as ever. I suspect they won. So we do need to go back to our screen share because we have some other information we need to pass on. Just take a second. Just yesterday, we had a great loss. One of the greatest baseball players ever to play left us. His name, Willie Mays. We called him the Say Hey Kid. Willie Mays left us yesterday. I covered Willie Mays a long time ago, just because he was just such a tremendous baseball player. And I didn't actually see Willie Mays play. I was just a little too young. But everyone talked about him. That's how I knew he was good, because everyone talked about Willie Mays. I want to talk about two plays that essentially established his career. His numbers were ungodly. We already talked about the 660 home runs and 3,000 hits, but he was an incredible fielder. And this is why I want to talk about these two stories. One, I heard this, I think I've seen it, but I heard this from, I believe it was Joe Gaggiola, a great baseball man himself. And it was a playoff game, I believe, and not sure who the Giants were playing, the New York Giants in those days, before they moved out west. Willie Mays is playing outfield. I believe he played right, but he was playing a little shallow. Don't ask me, but he's playing a little shallow. Pitcher throws pitch. The batter catches all of it. It's a frozen rope. A frozen rope. If he had got under it, it probably would have been a home run, but he didn't. Willie Mays knows from the crack of the bat, he's got to hightail it and run as fast as he can. And that's just what he did with incredible speed. He was a gifted athlete. Who knows how long the play was? It might have only been about 3 or 4 seconds. I'm not even sure. But he makes an over the shoulder catch. And no one can believe it. The people are astounded by this play. Just routine for Willie Mays, Guy's out, throws it back in the infield, go to the next batter. Maybe it was the end of the inning. I don't remember. But there's another play. And this one, I believe, was Gaggiola. The other one, I'm not sure. Routine fly ball. By now, the Giants are in San Francisco. This time, Willie Mays doesn't make the play. And all the baseball greats, all the great baseball men knew that it was over. And it was time for him to leave. And in the season, that's pretty much what he did, from what I understand. There's someone else here who lost about a week before that I didn't get a chance to talk about, but I need to now. Because we're talking about the greats. This great's name is Jerry West, one of the greatest basketball players that ever lived. Mr. Clutch. So I bring up Jerry West because these guys were so good. Again, same thing with Jerry West. Heard about him as a little kid. I never actually saw him play, but I knew he was great because everyone talked about him. Everyone talked about Jerry West. What, 12, 13 years, something like that? Same team. Some guys are institutions, you know? Some guys are institutions. Professional. I think of the Jerry West, the Willie Mays, the professional folks, no agendas, giving you a chance to unwind from your tough life, feel good by watching them perform. They understood the importance of sports. They understood that's what it was about. Yeah, everyone was competitive. Everybody wanted to win, but most of all, people just want to enjoy a little spectacle. Willie Mays gave that to you. Jerry West gave that to you. So we just give these guys just a moment out of respect. Okay, we're going to stop the share now. Takeaway, this weekend, I'll be in New England. It's going to be a little warm up there. I'll dress appropriately. So for everyone here at the Glen Burnie Players, again, my name is Anthony Bynum. Until next time, bye-bye.